I'm up there doing a stretch now with Gareth Thomas. Me and him were supposed to come on. And I'd done a bet the day before, and I had a betting slip in my sock. So I'm looking at the bets now like this in my sock, thinking, right, and my phone's in my sock as well, but I had enough time to go back, 10 minutes on the bench now, and accumulated come up for 14 grand. So I'm checking my phone, so I've gone back, put my phone in my coat, Diane, you're going on now in 5 minutes. I've already just won 14 grand. I thought, I don't really want to go on now.
So we're here with Andy Powell, British and Irish Lion, Welsh international, and played for plenty of other clubs as well, mate. But I want to kind of like take it back to the start. So what got you into rugby? Like, where did it all begin for you?
I think first of all, it's my cousin Ian McQueen, my eldest cousin. He was lucky enough, he got underneath books, and I think somebody you looked up to, and you know, he was going quite well until he had a bad injury. And yeah, well, I can remember one night he came down the pub and he was looking really buff, fit and everything, and I thought, well, sounds a good lifestyle, so you know, probably got me inspired to do what I did.
Yeah, you wanted a bit of that, like.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I've always watched rugby and played rugby at school, but then, you know, if you can get into that sort of setup, or that professional setup, and you know, it's great.
Yeah. So, like when you were younger, obviously there must have been a time where you realised, I'm gonna fucking go for this. This is gonna be my passion. Like, can you remember that particular point?
Well, I was lucky enough. I went to Llandovery College because I was probably going to get booted out of Brecon High School for being the wild child, and it was always my fault, which it was actually. But I got selected then to go for under-18s for Wales, and then I got picked up by Newport Youth, and then played some good rugby, and then I got a phone call of Ian McIntosh, which was coach of the first team at the time for Newport, and there was a guy called Alex Popham who was sort of, how can I say, the guy who was hitting the headlines, next future Wales number 8.
Yeah.
He got injured, so there was a perfect moment for me to take my chance and go for it. And yeah, I played my first game at 18, I think it was, for Newport First.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? Yeah, but that was a hell of a good feeling, wasn't it?
It was crazy, you know, and especially a boy from Brecon, just a normal guy, working class guy, talk to anybody, down to earth, and then you're a professional. I can remember signing my contract then for 36 grand a year. When I was fencing at the time, knocking bloody posts into the ground. So, yeah, to go from 18 grand a year to 36.
That's amazing. I bet you couldn't believe the difference, could you?
It was a bit of a shock, but it was good fun though.
Yeah.
Spent most of it.
Most of it and more, is it?
True right.
So, what would you say is like your highlight of your career for you personally?
I've had lots of highs. You know, I think every club you play for, you have good moments in that club. But I think, you know, playing my first cap for Wales at the age of 28, from being in my first Welsh squad at 18, 19, and didn't get selected. So where did them 10 years go? Maybe it was me being a bit highly strung as a person as I am, and maybe the coaches didn't know how to make me out. But then that goes down to man management as a coach, and I think Warren Gatling see me as a bit of a wild guy, but he knew I had the talent and gave me the opportunity at the age of 28. So probably playing for Wales is my highlight of my career.
Yeah, mate, it's a massive thing. It's a thing to be proud of as well, and it's something you'll always have with you that can never like take that away.
I think the key thing, like I've got 2 children now, and I think it was quite the other week I went up to Nottingham, and my eldest said, "Dad used to play for Wales," and now he's starting to look on the internet. He hasn't mentioned the golf cart yet, so until he does that, you'll have to have a whap. So, but no, it's great, you know, for your kids to look up to and to mention that, which is great.
So that's not quite at the top of your Google search yet, is it?
Not yet, no.
The golf cart.
We can mention that after.
Right, mate. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm sure you've been through it 1,000 times, have you?
Yeah, just a few, I think. Yeah.
So obviously, well, that kind of leads me in. You have high points and low points, and well, I don't know. Would the golf buggy, would that be a high or a low for you? Do you think? I know obviously there's like it's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's probably brought you a lot of like media and stuff, which is a good way of promotion. So how do you view it?
Oh my God, in my career I've had plenty of lows, plenty of highs, and I'm one of those guys. You have lows, you just have to polish yourself down and dust yourself down, and just get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, it was bad for my family more so. I was more worried about mum and dad, and that's it. I wasn't worried about myself, but I knew I could get back on track and prove everybody wrong. You know, I didn't kill anybody. You know, what I did, I took a golf cut in the M4, which wasn't probably the brightest idea to do at the time, especially after the win against Scotland. But I think there's two things in my life, probably on my two shoulder operations, where I can remember the first one was against Edinburgh, and they had 9 months off, so just 9 months off of rugby. First game back against Bristol in a friendly. My left shoulder goes, so it's 18 months off now. So I'm thinking to myself now, I've been for the first one, I know what it's about, I can deal with it. And I was quite good at being, if something bad happened to me, I could get back on track straight away.
Yeah.
But I could easily go off track as well and go on a downward spiral, and probably, don't get me wrong, I used to hit the beer a lot, but I knew that what kind of person I was, I could get straight back on. Well, I was one of the fittest at the time, so that's probably why I did it a lot
Helped
more.
you out. Yeah. Yeah, how do you, so that fitness you feel helps pull you out of that spiral a bit?
I think I was naturally gifted. I'm not sounding big-headed now. Like, I can remember, well, Bun knows me more as a friend, a good friend.
Yeah.
I used to say to myself, if I come come second or third in this fitness, I'm going to die. So I used to push myself mentally and real challenge myself.
Yeah, I think that makes a massive difference in it. You see, you see athletes, that's what they need to do, and at the top of their game, they've always got that little bit of an edge, and that's probably your edge, wasn't it?
I think you have to set the bar. You know, if you want to be the best, you have to challenge yourself and try and be the fittest.
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe in years gone by, like rugby's changed now? Like sports in general have changed quite a bit, like the culture?
Definitely the culture. I think you look at the youngsters now, they're all in gyms at the age of 16, 17, 18, 19, try and put too much muscle on. Where does all that ability go from when they got picked to be in the squad, when they're playing with flair on a rugby pitch? I think that's the thing with Wales at the minute. They trying to put too much muscle on them. They get injuries. And then what happens then? That's the end of their career. Nobody's there to help them.
Yeah.
But I think as well, a lot of these youngsters now have been mollycoddled. They've never worked in their lives. They don't know what work is about. And I think they need to come down to earth a bit. And they need to go back to that old school environment. Go and play for your Division 1 clubs, Division 2, Championship, Premiership.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of rugby, but they're not. They're in the gym all the time. Then they expect them to go and play for a Pro 12 game, and they have 20 minutes. You can't learn rugby. You need to go to a lower league side, play 80 minutes against people who have played hard rugby for 15, 20 years, have a good punch in the nose to toughen you up. Because when you go to the top flight rugby, it's not easier. I'd probably say, Division 1's probably harder than top flight rugby.
Yeah.
So they need to get a bit of a mix of that ready for them to go and play.
Is that because you got like all the like local lads who are maybe a bit rougher and willing to have a bit of a tussle and all that on the pitch?
Or maybe the ex-retired players who've been there before, they know what they're doing. Yeah. So, you need to learn about it.
It's like harder, isn't it, to become like a pro athlete at anything these days unless you've been in the gym like from a youngster. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like kind of raised now to be that athlete, aren't they? Whereas like years gone by, the natural talent would like shine through, wouldn't it? Yeah,
it would. There's not many that did, but a natural player who had everything, you don't get them very often. But some people have to work at different things. But there's too much these youngsters in the gym, and they get too big. They lose everything about them. They lose their flair more than anything. And you can see Wales at the minute. You can see they've bulked up too much and it's starting to show.
Yeah. It's like, it's not how things have been in years gone by, is it? It's like a new breed of super athlete in it coming through. And
there's one thing I can remember. I can remember when I got selected for Wales, 2008 against South Africa. I was 108 kilos, which is a good weight, about 17 stone 8. I was quick, agile. And Warren Gatlin made me bulk up to 18 stone 5, 18 stone 8 in about 4 weeks.
Bloody hell.
And when I played then in 2009, you lose that little bit of sharpness. He wanted to put me more of a ball carrier where I used to beat people with my feet. So if you're running straight, you just a little bit of footwork before contact, and you could beat that guy, so you give somebody a weak shoulder to go at.
Yeah.
But if somebody's running straight at you, it's easy to tackle. So I think it's a Welsh mentality. I think Wayne Pivack's coming to now, and I think he's under pressure and he's starting to go back to that. So,
Yeah, I suppose I know personally, like a stone is a massive difference, isn't it?
huge.
You know, the amount of difference that can make to how you feel. I expect like putting on that weight in 4 weeks, you'd feel pretty sluggish.
Yeah, you would. You know,
Yeah.
you do it over a year and a half, and then you do the speed work with it, your fitness. You know, it makes more sense then.
Yeah, because you could be weaker for being heavier as well. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be
You fatigue
like,
a lot quicker.
powerful.
You fatigue a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But
Just being fit and having that energy throughout is like
I think
massive, isn't it?
a player knows himself better than a coach. All these fitness guys, they know how they feel, but these fitness guys now, they don't. Well, the top ones maybe, but at the time, they try and say, no, you're putting more weight on. You have to be that weight, otherwise you don't go in the squad. So next thing you know, you emotionally gets to your head, and especially with this mental, mental health now at the minute.
Yeah.
A lot of these players don't talk and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And if they're not playing well on the pitch, they get slated in the press. Oh, he looks too big, and they're not going to go to the press and say, "Oh, Warren Gatlin told me to put more weight on."
Well,
They're going to get sacked, aren't they? So you can see where it's all going.
So they take themselves into that hole of not being able to talk and express
Exactly.
what they want.
And all these people from the outside world coming in looking at it, they don't know anything. So
It's easier to be on this side, like talking about them without actually being in their shoes, innit?
exactly,
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
Do you have like many of them pressures in your career?
Well, I can remember for about 2 years I got slated. Well, I'm not one for getting myself down. I'll be honest, it was like I was deliberately going on BBC Sport on the forum to look at what people were saying about me.
Yeah.
And when you start seeing people, he's gone too big, he's shit, he shouldn't be in the Welsh squad, it gets you down.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And it is tough work, and you can imagine what these professional athletes go through.
Yeah, well, social media as well, like now it's boomed, isn't it? I expect they're getting, people are probably direct messaging them.
Well,
stuff
exactly.
as well,
and the people from the outside world are looking and thinking, professional, they shouldn't have nothing to moan about. But, it's quite a big thing you need to look at.
Well, you're putting yourself out there in front of people as well. It's not just going and doing the sport you love, is it? It's all the criticism, like you said, and trying to cope with that mentally. Like, I don't know, was there any, when you were playing rugby anyway, was there any like procedures in place to try and help athletes with stuff like that?
There was, but I think in England, when I went to England, you get better help in England. So,
Right.
yeah. But I think nowadays it has to be top mark, because especially with people commit suicide, mental health, that's probably a big part of the game now.
Oh, it's more regular than ever, if anything, isn't it? And
100%.
And like, I don't know if it's the same with rugby as it is with American football. I imagine so, but like the knocks as well, that's got to take a toll on the brain, innit? They've linked a lot to do with like CTE, with like suicides and mental health problems and stuff from taking the hits.
It's like George North. He hasn't been right after he had all them concussions, and don't get me wrong, like you said, it does build up to suicide. So it's a big part of the game at the minute, which I think needs probably a lot more work needs to go into it.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a massive conversation around it, is there? Not.
They sort of put it to the side, really.
Yeah.
But,
I suppose they.
it's a big thing.
What do you do though, innit? What is the answer to it? Because how do you not have them hits when that's like what the game is built around?
I think if you have to get knocked out 2 or 3 times, I think we should call a career end to it.
Yeah. That's got to be so hard for them to hear then, innit?
But then you've got insurance, so these top players have got insurance, so
yeah,
they'll be looked after. And
yeah. Do you ever get knocked out?
Once, 18
Yeah.
in a training session, I was out for about 2 minutes and Mum had to pick me up in the
Yeah.
training session.
Feel weird after that then?
But I've been worse on a night out, so it's all right.
So, well, talking about knockouts, I know it wasn't, but you took a bit of boxing recently, innit? I was actually there, funny enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So what made you do that?
Danny Digg, of course, from Bilth, Landord. I like Danny. I think a lot of people don't like him, but he's very brash and he's outspoken, and I like people like that who's going to give things a go, and if it falls flat in his face, doesn't matter, at least he's given someone a challenge. But he rang me up and he said, would you be interested in doing a charity boxing match with me? And I said, yeah, no problem, as long as it's to raise money for Mind, and there's other charities which he wanted to get involved. And just took it on board. Started to train quite hard at the start until I done my shoulder in.
Yeah.
So I didn't do any training, probably building up to 12 weeks before it.
Was it?
I know I was in the pub the night before. We won a kites competition. We chucked kites at a board.
All right.
And I had about 16 pints. So,
the night before.
And So I didn't feel the best, and we had a game the next day, so I was coaching that. We won down in Monmouth, and went up there feeling good. I even had a pint before the boxing match, just to take the edge off from the night before, and just gone on with it. It was a good little dust-up, but I did conserve a little bit of energy because I didn't want to go too hard just in case I got gas, but he went quite hard, so...
It was intense for how long it lasted, wasn't it?
It was good fun, but, the main thing was we raised a bit of money, and we had a good laugh, shook hands after, and, I think...
It was a good night, I think,
10, 11 grand, so, which is, it's superb.
For him as well, I think, considering he was running the event, as well as actually fighting, must have had a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
It's a lot of hard work, and, I like the guy. I think he's done great things. He's got his own business now, and I think he'd do very well in it. He's a clever guy. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like him. He's my cup of tea, so it's you find in life.
So do you usually try and punch people you like in the face?
I'll be honest, I'm a softie until somebody has to. If somebody did something to my family, then you get everything. But I'm chilled.
Yeah,
I'm a nice guy. I do anything for anybody, and I think I've always been that kind of guy, really.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. Yeah, that's the best way to be, isn't it? You just get
chilled
on
with
people. It's easy,
isn't
it?
Exactly. It's the best way.
Yeah. What was so compared to like stepping out on the rugby field? Did you feel much pressure going into the boxing?
I was probably more nervous going out in front of how many people were there? I think it was 700 or 500.
Somewhere around there, I'd imagine. It was pretty full, wasn't it?
I was more nervous going out to that than I was 76,000 people in the Millennium Stadium.
That's mad, isn't it?
I don't know. It's weird.
I suppose it's not really what you're known for either, is it? So it's probably an added
Well,
bit
exactly.
of pressure.
If you get knocked out in a ring,
it
doesn't look good, does it? If you get tackled on the pitch and somebody gives you a big hit, that happens throughout every rugby game. So
something else will happen 5 minutes later as well, won't it?
I think I'm just going to retire 1-from-1 now.
Yeah, leave it at that 1-0. Does he want a rematch?
I don't think I might. No, I'll just leave it like that.
I think he's looking to do some more events. Is he? I see.
He has asked me to do it, so I might. Who knows?
Yeah.
If it's for another, maybe a trilogy fight, I'd do it probably.
He was looking at MMA, wasn't he? I think. Would you do that with him?
Yeah, I'd give it a crack. Yeah.
I think I would be. You.
I get Hugh Davis to train me up.
Yeah. The takedowns, you'd nail the takedown straight off.
Just sitting him, I'd be fine now.
He's quite big by himself, isn't he?
He is a big lad. He had a longer reach than me, which is funny enough. I thought I had him, but he caught me with a few good shots.
Yeah.
But I think he was scared in the end.
When he when he got in there, I was quite surprised, to be honest, how well he put himself together as well.
He did.
He seemed like he'd done a bit of boxing, not just the training. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, yeah.
I think he sent me videos all the time. Powell, you're going to have it and all of this. And it was quite funny. But Danny's a good lad. He's a good kid.
It's a fair bit of banter leading up to it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So talking about a bit more about like nerves and stuff, before you went out to like a rugby game or whatever, did you have any procedure you did or whatever before you went out to try and like chill yourself out? Was it revving yourself up?
No, I wasn't one for revving myself up. Like, I've been in change rooms before, and there's people headbutting the wall and punching the wall and slapping people across the chops just to get them going. I would just walk around, earphones in, chilled out. But there's one moment, actually. I was on the bench against Toulouse, and I was in the Millennium Stadium in the quarterfinals. You probably remember the game where we had to do a conversion.
All right.
And Martin Williams missed the kick. And I was supposed to go on at 60 minutes. So I'm up there doing a stretch now with Gareth Thomas. Me and him were supposed to come on. And I'd done a bet the day before, and I had a betting slip in my sock. So I'm looking at the bets now like this in my sock, thinking, right, and my phone's in my sock as well, but I had enough time to go back, 10 minutes on the bench now, and accumulated come up for 14 grand. So I'm checking my phone, so I've gone back, put my phone in my coat, Diane, you're going on now in 5 minutes. I've already just won 14 grand. I thought, I don't really want to go on now. But I went on and played well, and we beat Toulouse, and then, it was brilliant. So, I had some fun along the way.
I bet people wouldn't believe it. Would you? Like, you're about to step up and play this game of rugby in front of thousands of people, and you're there checking your accumulator. Like, it's such like a normal thing to do, isn't it? Like, people.
Well, I don't think it's normal, but
maybe not the 14 grand.
Definitely normal for me. I don't know. It's like another one. I remember. I think Hugh was with me at the time. I think it was on a Sunday night in Sins in Brecon. And we had Welsh train on a Monday. So I'd just come back from Wasps on a Saturday, so I had a few beers with the boys. So I put, I think, a grand on. I won £98,000. I needed Lionel Messi to score a goal.
Yeah.
It was the last 3 minutes. So I'd gone to train on a Monday in the Welsh camp. And said, Gats goes, "You've been out last night?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Have a look at this." He goes, "Oh, you may as well go home." He said, "If you won 98 grand." So, I've had some laughs. I've had some good coaches to work, and but a lot. If I said this to another coach, he probably wouldn't have got me. Probably would have sacked me straight away.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
but
seen the funny side.
You need to have good man management skills.
Yeah.
You just be a normal person at the end of the day.
Well, that's it, mate, isn't it? Yeah. So, I don't know. Is that your biggest win, or have you had?
That's about it. Yeah.
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 Fucking hell. What did that feel like when you seen that come in?
It was good fun.
Yeah.
I spent most of it.
Yeah. That night, or?
Yeah, not far off.
Fucking hell. So, coaching for Brecon now. How's that going? I see there's a fair bit of success. So.
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. When I took over, I think we were players didn't realise how good they could become. They were just happy enough to turn up on a Tuesday, Thursday. Some boys turn up late. Some boys didn't turn up, and then they expect to go on a Saturday then and go and win. So they were middle of the table before I took over, probably bottom of the table. They got promoted the year before, and it's a big step up to go to Division 1 from Division 2. They were holding their own, but they were happy to be mid-table. And somebody came up to me one night and said, "There's an opportunity as a coach." And I think a lot of people in the club didn't want me to go there because they probably look back in my career, they forget about what I'd done. They probably think, he's got a sort of a bad way, took a golf cut and all this shit. And, that really pissed me off. And that probably inspired me to go, right, I'll be honest, fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry about my language. But that's
Say what you want, mate.
That's what I'll speak from the heart, and that's where it is. So I thought, if I get these boys on my side, which I know I can, but I know most of them, and what I've known from all of my rugby career, but sort of, you can't bring all of that in because they probably wouldn't understand everything. So you sort of tone it down and just bring in the basics of rugby.
Yeah.
How to pass the ball from 30 yards, both hands. How to run good lines. So you're blocking the opposition players, working hard, turning up early for training, getting your massage done. Really become as a unity, everybody sticking close together. And I can remember the first year, I think we come third. I thought, right, I like the things I've seen. And the boys probably thought, right, we can do better than this.
Yeah.
And they knew themselves before me saying it. And then the second year, we went on to win the league. Won the plate, in the Millennium Stadium. And 150 years anniversary of Brecon when we did it that year. And it will probably never happen again. I hope it does. If I'm not involved, I would love to see Brecon do it again. Yeah. It's a great club. But I think, playing for Wales, playing for the British and Irish Lions was special. But this is a gospel truth on my kid's life. Winning that for Brecon, my home club, boys I know, was probably right up with the best moment of my life.
Yeah.
It was a surreal feeling. I think we had about 4,500 people, come down from Brecon to support us. And on a Sunday then, people coming out in the droves to watch a tractor ride for Brecon. And it may not happen again, but it was a great moment. I'll always cherish that one.
Yeah. That's wicked, isn't it? That just shows, isn't it, how much the local town and spirit means to you. Like, that means as much to you as the other achievements. Of
course it is. And I think you have to enjoy moments like that. And like when we had Scott Quinnell in there before, and I got Scott to come in and say a few words because, they listen to my voice all the time. Yeah, probably would have got him up for it, but I thought sometimes you need a change.
Yeah.
And he came in and I think he did a speech for about 4.5 minutes. And there's some boys got tears in their eyes. Yeah. Because it was emotionally getting them going. And they said to me after the game that was one of the best team talks they've ever heard. Yeah. And I remember what he said. He goes, "You're going to be the first side to take this plate home to Brecon." This is before the start of the game. And everybody thought, right, we can do this.
Just got to make them believe.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's good. Some nights I look back in the video what the lady did. Carrie Morris did a footage of it, and you know, it's stuff you'll always look back and, you know, I even showed my boy the other day and he said it's amazing as well, so, which is great.
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, it's just good to see that you're inspiring these boys to want to do it, innit? And giving them the belief, because like you said, if they're happy to be middle of the table, sometimes you just need to be told, like, if you pull yourself together, you can actually do this. Like, you can be the best team in this league. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to settle.
Yeah, I think you've got a good attitude,
Yeah.
a good work ethic. If you turn up on time for your job, like yourself, if you didn't turn up for your job at time,
Yeah.
the boss is on your back, you're not comfortable, you take that home to your missus, you're arguing. If you turn up, you enjoy your work, your boss is happy with you, you take things home to your house, your missus is happy, everything's happy. So otherwise it's a downward spiral then.
Yeah.
So, but in fairness, the lads really worked hard at it. You know, in the end, there was boys who couldn't make it for 7:20. Training starts at 7, get there for 6:30. Some boys are ringing saying, "We're late in work, I'll be down 7:30." You know, that's a great attitude to have. Even if they just come down for 5 minutes, show their face.
So they're committed.
So it shows to the other players then, fair dues to him. Where if he didn't turn up at all, and then he found out he was at his house 7:20, he didn't turn up.
Yeah.
And it becomes a little bit of a, I want to say, bad morale in the camp.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I suppose if like you're seeing some people not turning up but they're getting started, it's going to rub people up the wrong way, innit? And
Of course it is. Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be straight across the board. Doesn't matter if you're the best or the worst player, innit?
Makes people work harder then.
Yeah, because otherwise, you know, what are you working towards?
It gets stale, and people know they can go in a team and start every week, and the other player gets pissed off. And
yeah,
it's just basic stuff, really.
Any coach that's like specifically inspired you to coach the way you are?
I think Warren Gatlin. Sorry, before that, I'd say Ian McIntosh. Sorry, where am I coming from? Before that, Iestyn Thomas, guy from Llandovery. First proper coach I've had, old school, good values, knows how to manage a player. Yeah. We had to, because he had to manage me for 3 years. So, if you want to speak to him now and tell him what he thought of me, he's a good guy. Ian McIntosh, South African, when he gave me my first professional contract in Newport. And then I'll probably say Warren Gatlin.
Yeah.
You know, that guy is brilliant. Top guy. But there's not many good coaches around in Wales at the minute. You know, it's why we're getting all these foreigners in. Everything in Wales at the minute, these Welsh coaches, they've got a folder. It's by the book, where I think you should coach what you know.
Yeah.
I never take a folder on a field to coach. I coach what I've known by 14 different coaches.
You can see it like from your experience. You don't need to.
You don't need to look in a book.
No.
That's why rugby in Wales at the minute is robotic. They're told, if you don't run that line, if you don't run that block, you don't hit that ruck there, you're out the side. Just play heads-up rugby.
Yeah.
If Wales start to play heads-up rugby and just go with the flow, then you'll start to see success. But I think Wayne Pivot's under pressure at the minute, so he's gone back to that all-value rugby, and just hopefully we get better this weekend, Friday against Ireland.
Yeah. Well, you'll see, like, players develop their own style as well, innit? Because if everyone's doing the same thing, like, people are going to read it, aren't they? They're going to know what's coming. Because like you said, if your head's up and you're going with the flow, you're going to give them different looks that people don't even know are coming, and that's...
You look in New Zealand for an instance, I know they lost to Australia on the weekend. I think they have 14 different players. But you look at them, there's so much competition. They're not robotic. They just heads up rugby. They learn a skill set. I think one thing I'll tell you now, from being a 14-year-old, I can remember I used to try and offload the ball with the right hand. And the coach said to me, if you do that again, you're out the squad. Where a good coach should come up to you and say, right, keep working on that in training. Keep doing it. Maybe don't do it in the next game. Just keep the ball in two hands. That's where a good coach will come up to you and say that.
Yeah,
a lot of these old school coaches will say, right, you're out the squad. You dropped. What does that do for your morale and your confidence? It knocks you to bits, and then you don't want to play for him.
Yeah.
So it's
you just like you're walking around like someone's pissed on your chips, then, aren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A good coach will help you either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a massive difference, and someone could be mega talented, but that one comment like that could be the thing that stops their career.
Well, it could break you, yeah.
Yeah, because some people just aren't built to take that, and I don't think anyone is really. Some people just put up with it better, don't they?
I think you'll always get your your favourites. You know, the coach will always have their favourites, and he'll say more to them than you have. And I think that's a big thing. I think it's a big thing in all rugby, but I think more so in Wales. And I'm not bitter because I've done what I've done through hard work. But I think there's a lot of, I call the term brown nose and the toenails.
Yeah.
You know, there's shit underneath his nails. He's so far at the coach's ass. They'd be shit. And I've known a few of them in my time. I'm telling you something now. And that's probably what got them to where they are. Yeah. Where I can tell you one thing now. I've never done any brown nose. My mum has taken me to training until I got my driver's license at 17. And I used to make myself all around Wales, England, to go to these trials. So I've done everything my way, by the book. So I can say, I can lift my head up high and say, yes, I've done it the right way.
Yeah. Through like your skill and through your passion, and you don't need all that other stuff. Like,
no, exactly, from just hard work.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the way it should be.
Do you ever see yourself like playing a coaching role in any other clubs or for Wales, or is there a future?
I would. Oh, I'd love to. I just want an opportunity, and it will come. I know it will come. It's just, you know, it's not ideal time at the minute with this COVID, and
yeah,
you know, that comes first. Health comes first, and you know, that's the way it is. And hopefully, someone will come after that. You know, I'm with Brecon now for the end of the year, so yeah, we'll just see what will happen, and hopefully, someone comes good of it.
Yeah, it's put a spanner in the works for a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, going back to your local town, you know, that shows a lot of commitment straight away. You know, I could have set myself high goals straight away, but I think we all have to start off somewhere. Yeah. Like riding a bike, you need stabilizers on first, get your confidence, get a little bit of success at lower levels, and then challenge yourself at the top, and you know, you see what you're about then.
Yeah. Well, you've already proved yourself at Brecon, taking them to winning the league and the plate and stuff, isn't it? So that's a massive achievement in itself.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's harder in these lower leagues.
Yeah.
But I think the higher the leagues they are, you probably get the better quality players. And I'm not knocking what Brecon. We have got some talented players like Jake Crockett. I could go on Davey Herdman. You know, there's a lot of good players. But I think it's easier when you get to the top, because you've got so many people working underneath you.
Yeah.
So it makes your job a lot easier. All you have to do is go and coach. They do the analysis on the computers. I probably wouldn't be able to turn a computer on. So, but it's definitely easier at the top.
Like you say, you can bring that natural flow in for them, innit, and teach them. You don't
exactly. And the thing is, I think if I did get to the top and I get criticism, I don't give a shit about criticism, but I've had it in my playing career, so I'm used to that.
Yeah.
So, but you're always going to have your doubters in life. That's the way the world works.
I think whatever you do, you could be the best person in the world, and if you're at the top of what you're doing, someone's going to criticise you for something. Like Lionel Messi's getting criticised for a pass he didn't make somewhere.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
That's social media for you, isn't it? There's some people who haven't got lives, and
a lot of jealousy out there.
It's a sad world, isn't it?
It is, mate. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think of this whole COVID? Like, how's it affecting you?
Well, it's probably been good for me in a way. You know, I'm back working construction at the minute on machine driving, yeah. So it's nice to go back to something I did back as a young teen, 15, 16.
Yeah.
You know, for my dad, and to go back on site now with the boys I know, and, you know, the after dinner speaking's quiet at the minute, so, and the coaching, so it's nice to go back out with your mates and have a bit of laugh, and that's what life's about. That's where it started, working class person, so it wasn't a shock to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, you see some people on the site saying, what are you doing working on the site? I said, well, I worked on the site when I was 14, 15, 16, so there's no difference. So they see it as a big, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's no different to me.
Mate, that's great, I think. Cause
of course it is. And I think it's, you know, there's people come to me and say, oh my God, a lorry driver came in the other day and said, are you Andy Powell? I said, yeah. Oh, he goes, have a picture of my cab and we'll have it sent. I said, yeah. So I jumped in there, masks on, of course, you know, hygiene your hands after. And it does a good laugh, you know, and that's what you're supposed to do in life. Have a good laugh, and
I think so.
Life's too short, mate.
It's taken too serious, isn't it?
It is. Just enjoy yourself, have a bit of fun, and
you can easily get caught up in it as well, like the seriousness of life, and not take them times to like be a child and have a laugh in it.
Listen, you're a long time looking at the brown lid, isn't you? So you just have to make the most of it, don't you?
You're right, yeah. I think so, mate. Yeah, like, definitely are as well, and I think like it shows massive respect to the people you work with. You know, you're not looking. You're not, you know, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. You don't feel like you're above them. Do you know what I mean? And that's great. Like,
Exactly.
like you said, you're just a genuine person.
Of course I am, yeah.
And that's massive, isn't it?
It's good fun. It's a good crack, and it's I enjoy what I'm doing, and especially when these talks start coming back up now, and that'll be good fun as well. And yeah, it's good. I'm in a good place at the minute, so life's good in Andy Powell's head.
That's cool, mate. Yeah,
first time for a long time, haven't I?
That's good. So, with these talks, what's that like? How did they come about?
There's a guy called Ian Hollerite. He does a lot of the English players. He got in touch with me, obviously, about the golf cut one.
Yeah.
He said that will sell a story straight away. But yeah, I've got plenty of other stories. I'm not going to say them by here, but
Not any of them.
no, no. When I bring the book out eventually, I'll come down. I will mention your name. I'll do a piece for the Telegraph tomorrow, and I'll put your name in it.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, appreciate it.
I'll get you some good publicity, all right?
Legend.
You're a good lad.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you coming, mate.
No,
honestly.
you're good. You're a good man.
Yeah. Well, we can do it whenever, when the book comes out and whatever, if you want to try and promote it about a bit, and be more than happy to have you on. And
definitely, bud. Sounds good.
I have to read it first, like when I, so we
plenty
can
of pictures,
about
plenty of pictures as well, so it's fine.
Pictures in the book, is it? Right. Well, thank you very much for coming, and
thank you. Hey,
catch up again in the
much
future.
appreciated. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Legend.